Scott Reid, CTV News political commentator, joins us now. Hi, Scott. Good to see you again.
Great to see you.
So last night we were discussing about what's going to come after the meeting in terms of response. We have more details now, but let's start with the response first from both the leaders. It seems as though they're on the same page and positive, at least for now.
Sometimes the readouts from these meetings can be quite divergent. So that's one positive sign. They do seem to largely track against one another. So there's a broad agreement that it was a wide-ranging discussion, lots of topics. And you could see by the photograph that it was a large table, lots of people at it. So you would expect that it would be a fairly freewheeling conversation. But, you know, no question that Donald Trump's willingness to have the meeting, that is, characterization of it as productive afterwards, those are all positive things. We've at least got engagement. So we can look around the room and go, well, I guess we're better off than Mexico. But the question, of course, now is going to be what comes next, what flows out of that meeting, and how does it manifest itself in terms of.
Indeed. Also a good opportunity to sort of make those connections and contacts with this incoming administration before they actually come to the White House. But government sources telling CTV News, Scott, that while it was a good meeting, but the main problem and the concern around tariffs is not going away. Tariffs cannot be avoided in the immediate term, they say. And of course, that continues to remain a problem.
No question about it. I think it would be far too much to have hoped that a magic wand would have been passed last night and the threat of tariffs would have vanished. At least we've got engagement. Hopefully we've got some measure of conviviality and some sense of a broad direction. But most importantly, hopefully we have on the part of the Canadian government an indication of, look, we're going to act. I think ultimately what Donald Trump wants to do is demonstrate I got action. Is he going to follow through an agenda where he thinks he's going to finance the whole of the United States on the back of tariffs? Maybe he thinks that now. How practical is that? Not very. Can Canada move itself out of the buckshot? That's the big question. And, you know, I think last night's meeting is at minimum positive indication that we're further down the path than some of our other trading allies.
Right. In the light of things and what we know so far about these discussions that the two leaders have had, and also looking at Trump's previous term, we know that Donald Trump is not really big on these economic groups or alliances per se. One-on-one or bilaterals between Canada and U.S., is that seeming like more of a possibility to you now?
Yeah, and I think most experts have suggested that that was probably the way this was going to end up. And there's no question, you're dead on correct. Trump hates big multilateral deals for a couple of reasons. First of all, he thinks it diminishes the United States leverage, when you're having to deal with multiple countries. Second of all, he wants to play people off against one another. He wants to isolate his bargaining partner so he can get maximum leverage against them and he can get maximum concessions from them. So I do think ultimately the big question that's going to hang over our situation is what can we do in terms of securing a unique and preferred relationship with the United States and its market? And that may mean that Mexico ends up odd man out. That may mean that we are having to position ourselves against other trading blocs such as Europe. But listen, in the current environment, anything goes as long as it goes well for Canada.
You bet. Okay, we'll leave it at that for tonight. Scott Reid, CTV News political commentator. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.